Let me ask you something strange. Have you ever achieved something you once believed would change everything? A promotion, a major goal, a dream you worked toward for years. And for a moment it felt incredible, but not for long. The feeling faded and quietly a familiar thought returned. Why do I still feel like it's not enough? If you've ever felt this, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not broken. Your mind may simply be following a psychological pattern most people never realize exists. And once you see it, you start seeing it everywhere. Psychologists call this the arrival fallacy. It's the belief that once you finally arrive somewhere in life, you'll finally feel satisfied. Once I get the promotion, once I make enough money, once people respect me, then I'll finally feel okay. But research shows something surprising. The satisfaction fades fast. Think about the last big goal you achieved. At first it feels incredible, but after a while, life simply returns to normal. And instead of questioning the pattern, most people do something else. They set another goal, and the cycle quietly begins again. But here's the strange part. Even when people understand this pattern, they still can't escape it. Why? Think about your own life for a moment. What was the last thing you achieved that you believed would finally make you feel satisfied? For many people, this pattern begins much earlier than they realize, often in childhood, not always in obvious ways. Sometimes it was subtle. Praise came when you performed well. Attention came when you succeeded. Approval came when you behaved correctly. And slowly your brain learned something powerful. Your value is something you prove, not something you simply have. Psychologists call this contingent self-worth. It means your sense of worth becomes tied to achievement, performance, and approval. And here's the difficult part. This rule doesn't live in your conscious mind. It lives deeper, quietly shaping your goals, your relationships, and the way you judge yourself. You don't wake up thinking, I need to prove my worth. You simply feel it every single day. People who grow up with contingent self-worth often fall into one of two patterns. The first is relentless achievement, always working, always pushing, always chasing the next milestone. From the outside, they look ambitious, successful, and driven. But internally, they're exhausted because every achievement only buys temporary relief. The second pattern looks very different. Quiet avoidance, procrastination, self-sabotage, stopping just before the finish line. Not because they fear failure, but because deep down, they fear something worse, succeeding and still feeling like it's not enough. Because if success doesn't fix the feeling, then there's nowhere left to run. Here's the uncomfortable truth. No achievement will fix this. Not money, not recognition, not success. Because the part of you asking, am I enough? Is not measuring success. It's measuring worth. And those are not the same thing. The way out isn't another achievement. It's something much harder, learning to separate your worth from your performance. Not through positive affirmations. Your brain doesn't easily believe words that contradict years of conditioning. Instead, the process begins with awareness, noticing the moments when your sense of worth rises and falls, a compliment, a failure, someone's opinion, and slowly learning not to let those moments define your value. Psychologists call this unconditional self-worth. It's not something you reach once, it's something you practice again and again. You've probably spent years trying to feel enough by doing more success, more effort, more proof. But what if the answer was never out there? What if the feeling you've been chasing was never something achievement could give you? If something in this video felt uncomfortably familiar, that's not a coincidence. It's your mind recognizing a pattern it has been living inside for years. Subscribe to Dark Logic. We explore the hidden psychology behind thoughts and emotions people experience, but rarely understand. And before you go, have you ever achieved something you worked years for and then felt almost nothing when you finally got it? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. And remember this, the most powerful beliefs shaping your life are often the ones you never realized you were believing. See you in the next video.